then where would I get the money? I need money. So for now, I don't know. I'm not in the mood.
Yes.
I will try and get back to you. Because I don't even know I don't even have any purpose. The way that bringing everyone out. I'm just I even told them, you know what?
Right. Welcome back to Cat Simplified channel. Today we are going to take a look at database report, and then we'll be going through various questions regarding database report. Now, before I start, I would like to check from everyone if you can see the screen and then also hear my voice. Welcome everyone. If you have any question, you can as well indicate it in the chat session. Right. Now, when it comes to the report, which is the last object in database, and then report is used to present data from a database in a structured and a printable format. So unlike table and then form this one, you'll be able to print them. A typical example is the one that we normally see when you get your end of term report. It is also from database. Then we also have grouping report, sorting, and then performing calculations. These are the things that we will be looking at today. Now, when you group a report, it allows us to organize data in a categorized or different categories based on a specific field, allowing summaries per group. And then the sorting part allow us to arrange records in a specific order, whether ascending or descending based on selected field. Then we will also be looking at various calculations, mathematical operations, and then various functions used in database. We are going to do calculations as well. Right, so join with me as we start with the first question. Now, I'm going to start with 5 movies, database, and then I will solve this question with you. I just want to check or verify whether everyone. Yeah, thank you very much. You can see, so I can now start. Right, so I'll open 5 movies database, and it says create a report called RPT5_5 based on the performance table. Use the film, US release date, budget, and cinema score, and all the review fields according to the cinema score. We group according to cinema score. And then display the report in landscape, and then they change the name of the report to Disney Live Action Remix. This one is typical grade 11 question paper. So let's start with 5 movies. Don't forget the same link that I shared with you yesterday. You get the data and then the question paper every day. If you want to practice whether queries, table, or report, use the same link to get access to the files and then the question paper. So I will start with the 5 movies. Okay, let me arrange them in alphabetical order according to name. There we go, 5 movies. Now, right, if you are creating a new report, just like creating a form, we use report wizard. So I will go to create, and then please don't make a mistake. And then instead of you to click on report wizard, you go and click on the form wizard. Sometimes learners make mistake. So you must check. This is table. This side is for queries. Here is for forms. And then this side is for report. So be careful. Now, report wizard. According to the question, it should be based on performance table. And then we should include the film US release date. So you double click on the film US release date. Budget, cinema score. So we have budget, cinema score. You must select them according to the way the question has placed them. And then, and all review fields, so all the review, we have the foreign review or revenue. The reviews are only Rotten Tomato, and then Metacritic review. Right, then you go to next. Then according to the question, group the report according to the cinema score. So here it says, do you want to add any grouping? Yes, because the question says we have to group according to cinema score. So you double click on the field that you need to group according to. Then the moment you group, you will see that one will have blue color. It will have different color on top. Right, you can also be able to group more than one. And then you go to next. Now, I want to introduce this to you because the question didn't say that. When you group, there is also an option here that says grouping options. So when you click on grouping option, it allows you to have grouping interval. So the grouping interval, let's say, according to cinema score, you want it to have first letter or the second initial or the third initial letters, or 4 initial letters, or 5. So you can pick them here. That's the grouping interval. So now this question didn't tell us, so we pick the normal one. And then next, then it will ask you, do you want to sort the record? Now let's check the question. They did not mention any kind of sorting. So now we are not supposed to sort the record. Assuming the question wanted to sort the record, let's say according to film, whether ascending or descending. So if it says descending, you click here, it will change to descending. So this one, I'm just showing you how to sort as well. Now, none. And then we also have the summary options under the sorting. Now, when you go to summary option, it allows you to do calculations as well. So now, if the question wants you to do calculation for all of them, then you can also choose the summary options. Then you choose the function that you want to apply, whether the sum of the budget or the average of the budget or the minimum or the maximum of the budget. Right now, this question they didn't ask us for that, so we will just ignore it. And then we go to next. Then it says it should be landscape. And then next, the name of the report should be RPT5_5. So you change the name here, RPT5_5. Then because you are going to modify and do so many things in your report, it's better you take this one, modify the report design, and then you finish. Now, it's going to give you the report in design view. It's going to give the report in design view. Right now, so we have it in design view, which sometimes can also give you the property sheet. Now, the heading, that just like the form, you can change the heading. Let's say performance review. Now, the heading, you can bold it by going to home, bold, change the color, and then increase the font. Right. You can apply all sorts of text formatting on it, and you can also put a border around it. When you go to property sheet, then you see border width, you change it to maybe 3 pt. It will change the border style to solid. And now if you want to change the border color also, you can go there, this arrow, the 3 dots, and change the border color. Right. So that's the border color and then the border around it. Again, in the header section, we can also, it's not part, but I'm just showing you what are some of the things that you must watch out for. We are going to see them in the next question. Header section, you can also be asked to insert, when you go to report design, you can insert an image. You can be given a question to insert image. Right, and then you draw the image to the left or to the right. Then this image, we can also change the size mode to, let's say, stretch to fit in. We can also change the color or the background color here by right-clicking on the header. Then you see fill or back color. Right. So, and again, we can also insert date and time in the header from the report design. You see date and time, whether only date or time. And then we can also insert page numbers. Let's say we want the page number to be page N of M, and then it should be at the bottom or the header. And the alignment, whether center, right, or inside. And if you don't want to show page number on first page, let's say the question says don't show the page number on the first page. You uncheck this one and then okay. Right. So basically, this is what we can add on the header and then the footer. Page numbers, date and time, logo, or the image. Right. Now, let's go to the other view and check. So this is what I have here. The date and time here, the header, and then the footer, you only see the page numbers. Right. Now let me go back to design view. Again, as we can see here, we have the report footer, but you don't see the space. So you click on this edge, the border here, you drag it down, then you can see the footer section. You can see the footer section here. Now, the footer section, like I told you, you can do so many things. You can put calculations also there. Right. If, let's say, you made a mistake in terms of the grouping, you click on group and sort. It's here. Or you can go to tell me what to do, then you type group. It's going to give group and sort. Then you'll find a group and sort over here. Now, we are going to use this group and sort to do more of calculation. So I want to show you in the report. When you go to group and sort, we can add more grouping and we can add the sorting as well. As you can see. So let's say you want to sort according to that. You can sort it also. Right. Now, when you go to group on cinema score, then there's an arrow here that talks about more. You click on that arrow. Now we have here with A on top. Based on your grouping, you can change it to be with Z on top. That means it is going to be grouped according to cinema score from descending order. So we see here with Z on top. And then again, by entire value. Let's say you want to group according to the whole value. Let's check here. Again, then I'll show you. As you can see here, cinema score, we have the B plus, A minus, and others. Right. So now let's say you want only the first letter. So that's why you change that. But then this one is only cinema score. It has only one letter. So this one will not be needed. Right. Then we go to also with no totals. Here that says with no totals. That's the one we use to do calculations with no totals. So you go there and then you say totals on. Let's say I want to do totals on budget in millions. And then I want to do totals on budget in millions. Then I want to use the function, let's say sum or average or count. So depending on the function that you want to use. So let's say I want to use average function, average budget. Now look at the options here. We have show grand total. That one means if you want to do the totals for all the budget, the average budget for all the values, you take this one. Now, we also have show group subtotal as a percentage. If you want to do the average for each group, for instance, cinema score A, then it will calculate the average budget for it and others. So now that's the rest of them, whether you want the group to be on top or the group to be on the footer. So you can decide which one you want to select. Right. And then now let's go and check. Now here, you see cinema score footer. Cinema score footer. Then you can even drag it. So here it says equals to AVG budget in million. Now, in database, average is AVG. Right, so here we can change the number of decimal place because it's average. So I can go to property sheet, the format, I change it to fixed, and then the decimal place, I change it to 2. And now if I want to put a label or a caption to describe this calculation, I go to the report design. This is a label like we saw in the form. You click there and then you drag it to draw it. And then I can type there, average budget for each score. Right. So this one also, I can bold it. If I want it to be bold, I can just go to home and then bold. And then if I want to shade also, I can do that. Now, if I want to put a border on these calculations also, I can equally do that. When I click on it, then I go to border width, then I choose solid, 3pt. Now let's go and check. So you can see that every score, it calculates the average, and then the average budget for each score is there. So A minus score, it calculates the average. Now you can get a question like this in a screenshot, then the question will tell you to do that report as you see on the screenshot. So take note of such. Right. Now, I will move straight to the next question. Let's go to the next question. All right, yeah, there was a calculation here, I forgot. The same one they told us to calculate the total budget. So here, total and average. And then insert a suitable label for each. So here there were two calculations, total budget for cinema score. So that one will be under the group footer. And then this one will be for all. Then you choose the average budget also for all of them. Right. Let's move straight to the next question. And then I'm going to show you how to have two calculations at the same time. Now, 5, water usage. Create a report using all fields, sort it according to water use activity in descending order and in landscape. Insert the picture 5 water in the report header on the right. Calculate the average water usage for day 3. Save it as my report. So let's open 5 water usage. Five water usage. Right. Now we are going to create a report. So I go to create report wizard. Now the question says it should be based on, I think it's only one table. So water usage. And then according to the question, use all the fields. So now all the fields are here. If I want to use all of them, I don't need to double click each of them like that. I just have to click on the 2 arrows and then to take all of them here. Now, the same way, if you make a mistake, you just use the 2 arrows. Then I go to next. Then the question says we must sort according to water use activity in descending order. They didn't ask us to group the report, but then they said we must sort it according to water use activity. Now, so you double click on water use activity and then next. Sorry, we are not sorting. We are not grouping. So I go to next, but then we are sorting according to water use activity in descending order. So I will click on this ascending, then it will change to descending order. And then it says it should be in landscape. So we go to next. We choose landscape. And then insert the 5 water picture in the header on the right-hand side. So we go to finish, or we go to next. The name is called My Report. So we change the name to My Report. Right, and then we click on Modify the Report Design, and then you finish. Now, the question says again, we must insert the 5 water on the header of the right-hand side, in the header on the right-hand side, and then we calculate the average water usage. So we have to underline this. Average water usage for day 3. Average water usage for day 3. Average water usage for day 3. Because of this word here for day 3 or 4, meaning that we have to group them. We have to group them. Average water usage. Now, how do we do that? We have to go to group and sort. Now that's day 3. So we can add the group by day 3. And then here we go to more and then with no totals. Totals on day 3. And then the type of function should be average. Now, the question says average water usage for day 3. So here they didn't ask us to group or do anything. So for all the day 3, we just have to choose day 3. The function is average and then show grand total. We take show grand total. Now, when you take show grand total, the function will be at the report footer. It will be at the report footer. Here is the function. So all that we do is to insert appropriate label. And then we type average water usage for day 3. Right. Now let's check how our report looks like. So you can see here when you scroll down, the last or the bottom of the document, you will see the average water usage for day 3. Now, the last thing that we need to do is to insert the image on the right-hand side. As the question demands 5 water, we have to insert it. So we go to report design, and then we see from the header there, you see insert image, browse. Then we look for that image, which is 5 water. Then we draw it on the right-hand side. Right. So this is what the question wants us to do, doing the calculations and then grouping and sorting them. Now let's go to other questions as well. Let's go to other questions. 5 customers. It says open the report called RPT5_6 based on the TVL customers table. Display the average monthly fee for each. That means it should be in the group for each platform. So now, because the question is saying we should find the average monthly fee for each platform, meaning that we have to group according to platform. Change the properties of the monthly fee field to display a running sum for each group. So they're the properties of the monthly fee. So now let's go and check what we need to do. 5 customers. Right, so 5 customers, here is it. And now we need to make changes to the existing report. So this is the report RPT5_6. You right click and then you choose design view. Now, when you open it, it says we should calculate the average monthly fee for each platform. So here is our report. Now let's say this report, there was no grouping. You don't see any grouping here. So you have to activate the group and sort. Like I told you, if you don't know where to find it, you can use tell me what to do, then you type group. Now, when you come here, if there was no grouping, there you just click on add a group, and then you choose platform. Because the question says for each platform, then you go to more, and then with no totals. The question must find average monthly fee. So totals on, we select monthly fee. And then the type of function should be average. And then for each, so it should be in the footer section. You take show subtotal in group footer. Show subtotal in group footer. Now it will be here under the platform. Let's check the question again. It did not ask us to put any label, but it's asking us to change the properties of the monthly fee field. So we have to look for the monthly fee field. Remember, these are the headers are the label. The fields are mostly in the details section. Details section. So we have the monthly fee. Now, when you go to the monthly fee, they say the properties. We might change the running sum. Let's check the question again. To display a running sum for each group. So here, we have to look for the property. You go to data, and then you see running sum. It says no. Then we choose over group. Let's check whether the question says for each group. Yes, for each group. So running sum should be over group. Sometimes they can ask you to change the running sum to over all the data. So here it says for each group. So we choose over group. So please, the properties always check the data or the format. You can also see the running sum. It has been arranged alphabetically. When you go to all, you will see that one there. Running sum, here is it. So when you go to all properties, if you don't know which property is it, click on all and then go through them. It has been arranged in alphabetical order. Right. Now, let's go to the other questions. So we are done with the 5 customers. So you can see after every group, there is an average. After every group, there's an average calculated for you. Now we move straight to the next question, which is 5 info. 5 info. Open the 3 info database, display only the name, unit type, days, and then the amount field. Group the record first by the unit type and then by the amount field in the unit of 5,000. Now let's check this question 3 info. So basically, report is all about grouping, sorting, doing calculations, conditional formatting, and then validation rule and changing other properties. Now we are going to create the report. And then according to the question, we should display the name, unit type, days, and then amount field. So the table should be okay, this 3 info, they didn't tell us the table. I think it should be TBL booking. Let's check the question again. Yeah, it should be TBL bookings. The question was not clear. TBL bookings, and then we display the name, unit type. So name, unit type, days and amount. Days and then amount, only these 4. Then we go to next. And then it says group the record first by the unit type. So you double click on unit type and then by the amount field, then by the amount field. So here we group according to unit type and then by the amount field. So when you click on the amount field, they say it should be in the unit of 5,000. So you select the amount grouping and then you go to grouping option. So the amount, and it should be 5,000 under the grouping interval. So we choose 5,000 and then okay. Then you go to next. I think that's what the question, they didn't ask us to do any calculation. So no sorting. Next. And then the name should be RPT 5_6. right? Did not even tell us the name, so we can just leave it and then we finish. So basically, this is what this question wanted. It was just a short question. They wanted to test your skills about the grouping, how to change the grouping intervals. So take note, expect some of these questions in your June or prep or final examination for grade 11s also as well. How to create a report, how to group, how to make it the interval. So you can see 0 to 5,000, then it will group. And then those amounts, that is from 5,000 to 10,000, then it will also group as well. So with this, we can also do some calculations by finding the count or maybe the sum. So if, let's say, I want to do some calculations, I activate group and sort. And then where it says group on the amount, then I go to more with no totals. I select, let's say I want to find the number. So I can just select, let's say name and say count, and I choose the group in the group footer. So it's going to count for me for each group. It's going to count for each group. This one is 6, and this one is 9. Right, so basically this is how the grouping is done, and then calculation is also done. Right. At the same time, we can also make use of some certain calculations. Let's say we want to do a function that is not here, or maybe if statement or something. If you want to put it in the footer section, let's say the question wanted us to do a calculation. Right. So here, for calculations, we use the text box, the one with the A and B, and then you draw it. And now it will say unbound. So where it says unbound, and this is a label. So where it says unbound, you right click, and then you choose build event, similar to the calculations in forms. And then expression builder, okay. And now you see, let's say I want to just do some few calculations here. You can do so many calculations because this is familiar to everyone. It's familiar to everyone. So let's say I want to just do some calculations here. Let's say all the amount value. And here, be careful, not the label. So check the one that says the label you can use for calculation. We use the one for the field. So the amount multiplied by, okay, say the sum of the amount multiplied by 1.25. So now, whatever that you have here, don't forget, you need to copy by using Control-C and then OK. Then you come and paste it here, Control-V. Then we need to put equal sign. So you can just say the sum. Now let's go and check. So that's how we do some calculation. If you need to do other calculations that are not there, so you can see here, the sum value times 1.25, the sum of all the amount. So that's how we do other calculations. If it's not about the grouping or any other thing, you can do it also here, like the left function, the right function. You can also apply them here by using the text box. Right, let's go to the next question. We will meet some of these questions as we progress. If you have any question, please don't forget to add it. Now, we go to 5 club. Open the report 5_6. Change the grouping to the level field. So let's open 5 club. Five club database. Right. And now we should modify the 5_6. We right click and choose design view. Now, according to the question, it says we should change the grouping level to, or the grouping to the level field. And then determine the total amount paid by all the hikers. Total amount paid by all, so all of them. And then apply conditional formatting to the distance field so that all distances that are not between 6,000 and 8,000 appears in a blue field. Now let's go to that question as well. So first of all, we must change the grouping. It was grouped on days. So you see the field that they have grouped on, you are going to see an arrow there. You click on that arrow, then you select the right or the new one. So here the level. Right, and now the question says again, determine the total amount paid by all the hikers. So this is all the hikers. So we want to find the total amount paid. So you go to more, and then with no totals, we choose totals on the amounts paid, and it should be sum. And because the question says for all, we take show grand total, show grand total, show grand total. And then the question says apply conditional formatting to the distance field. So remember, the one on top inside the page header, it is not a field, it's the label. The fields are always in the detail section. So we go to the distance inside the detail section, not this one. Now we are going to apply conditional formatting here. You select it, and then you go to format, conditional formatting. If you don't know where to find conditional formatting, you are also allowed to search it here. So we go to conditional formatting. Always check show formatting rules for, now it is for distance. So make sure that you have selected the distance and the new rule. Now, what's the rule saying? The rule is saying that it says when it is not between, because according to the question, it says if it's not between 6,000 and 8,000. So you choose not between. Don't forget. So not between, and then here it says 1,000, and then this one is 8,000. Then what should we do there? Appear in a blue field. So we choose the field, and then we choose any blue color. And then okay, apply. Right, now how does it work when you go straight to the report view? All those distances that are not between 6,000 and 8,000 will be filled with a blue color. So that's how conditional formatting also works here. Right, I think that's all about this question. Now we move straight to the next question. 5 wonder. Open the report RPT 5_7 based on the query, or we are going to create a report, sorry. So we open 5 wonder report or database. Right, we open it. And then we are going to create, so we go to create, report wizard. Now the question says it should be based on the query. Let's check the question once more. Query 5_7. We have to be very careful which table or query are we going to base our report on. You have to be very careful. So you must read carefully before you choose or you select the right table or query. Now the question says again that display only the surname, the name, first choice, and date. So surname, name, first choice, and then date. And then we group according to the date of the survey. So we go to next. Group, here it says, do you want to add any grouping? Yes. Date of the survey. We double click. Then the next one says, accept the default grouping for the date. So here, accept the default dating for the grade. So meaning the date default grouping option was by month. Now, sometimes the question will tell you to change it maybe to the year or quarter or week or day. So I wanted to show you how the grouping interval is like regarding the date. So here it says we must accept this. And then next, use a function to show the total number of tourists below each group. So because of each group, they didn't ask us to sort, so we go to next. We can choose landscape. And then the report name is RPT5_7. And then we modify the report design. It's very necessary so that you don't have to close your print preview. Right, now, the question is requesting us to calculate the total number of tourists below. Now, look at this. It says the total number. Whenever you see, even in spreadsheet, whenever you see total together with number, then it is count. But if you see total without a number there, then it is going to be sum. So because this question says total number, then we are going to use count function. Anytime you see number, it means count. So take note. Right. Now we are going to do our calculations. Remember, we don't see the group and sort. We need to activate it by clicking on group and sort. Then you see more, and then with no totals. So totals on all these are the tourists, so we can choose the surname, and then the function is count values. So for each group, so we take show subtotal in each group footer. Sometimes the question will tell you whether it should be group footer or group header. So here it didn't specify. So if you put it in the header, it is still correct. And if you put it in the footer section, it's also correct. Now you are going to see equal sign count surname inside the group footer. Right, so this is what we are going to have. After each group, then there is a number that has been counted. Right, so this is what the question wanted from us. So basically, these are all about the grouping and then the sorting. Now we are going to look at a situation whereby they give you a screenshot. And I'm going to give this one 5 animals. It says we must create a report named RPT5_6 based on the TBL animal table as follows. Note, use the 5 zoo logo image, and then you must also check the border of the group field. Now look at this. They have grouped according to this. The one that's a carnivore, herbivore, and then this is just the background image. So they show the animals and then this one. So now for you to know which we are going to create based on the animals table. So let's open it 5 animals. Now, you have to check from the table that we are going to base our question on, because this question didn't tell you which table or which field should you select. They only gave a screenshot. So what our advice is that check, first of all, open the table because we are creating based on TBL animals. So open the table and check which fields contain these. Okay, no, here is there. It says the animals and that one. So here they gave you animals and also, yeah, the headings are there. And then origin, the status, the behavior, and then adapt. So if we check, we have animals, origin, status, and then we also have behavior, and then adapt. But there's also a group field there, which is the carnival. So the group according to the group field, but you don't see them here. And then you can see this is not, these are in like rows, they go in rows. The animal name is here, and then the origin, the status, the behavior. So it goes like that. It's unlike the previous one whereby the label will be on top and then the field will be below. So let's check. We are going to create it. We go to create report wizard, and then based on TBL animals. So the first one is animal origin, followed by status and behavior, and then followed by adapt. And then there was also a group. There was also a group. Then you go to next. We are going to group by the group field. We are going to group by the group field. As you can see here, all the carnivals, then all this will be below. So the group according to carnival, the groups. And then you go to next. We check whether they sorted. I think they sorted it according to animals. You can see. So we can leave the sorting part now, or you can just try it and check animals. Then you go to next. Now, you will see the preview over here. If you click on block, look at how the block is, outline, and then step. Step is like the one that we have been using. The label will be on top. Now block, the label is also on top, but outline, it looks different. So it's between this and then the outline, or we can even rearrange them as well. And then you go to next, modify. Right. Then we check again. We have to put the image, which is the zoo image over there. Now let's check here. Group, and then the group animal, and then animal. So here it was on top of each. So it was a mistake. We are going to get it wrong here. It must be next to each other. So it should have been the step rather. So the group will be here, the animal, then here it comes below. If you check, if you preview it, you will see that they are on top of each other, and that is not what we are looking for. It should be on top of each other. Now, we have to rearrange this so that it looks exactly as what we have over there. Now, we can do that by placing them, or let me change the format. Let me change the format. I chose the wrong format. Create report wizard. Now we choose animal, origin, status, behavior, adapt, and then group. Now we group according to group. And then we sorted according to animals. So we use the outline. I think the first one we use the block part. Let's choose the outline and see. Right. The outline is still the same, or otherwise we are going to rearrange them next to each other. So the label will be there. So we can just open this part. So the animal label will be next to it. And then the origin will follow. The label comes first, followed by the so here the status label. You can widen it also as well, so that you have more space, yes. So here the status. Make sure they are following each other or they are on the right. Then they're followed by behavior. And then lastly, you can still widen it to get more space. To arrange them nicely. Yeah, now as you do it, you can preview and check how they look like. So here we see the animal's origin, status, behavior, adapt. So all that we need to do is to rearrange so that they follow each other. Similar to this, you see, they must be closer to each other, inside the same. Now, check where the label for the carnival is on the extreme right. So we have to change the group. So all that you need to do is this one here, they must be following each other. You arrange them nicely, or in the details section. Now the group for this one must go to the extreme right. But there's no group label. So you click on the group label and you delete it. There was no group label. There's no labels that says group. It only shows the carnival. So we don't need the label. And this one, there was a border around it. You click on it, and then you go to the border width. You choose 3 PT or 2 PT. The question didn't specify. Let's check again. Right, so you can see the carnival is here. And then followed by, so these ones have been grouped according to each other. Or it should be here, inside the details section. Yeah, so that you see carnival and then followed by let's check the question again. Or carnival and then herbivore as well. So each group must be there. There was no group for this part, so there shouldn't be the header one. Right, and then we need to put the zoo also there. Now we have to put a background image. Then we need to go to the format, you see background image, and then you browse for that background image. And then the name of the image was, I think I don't have it, but I'm going to choose any image. There we go. So, we have the image in the background. Let's check our grouping properly because it shows all carnival. Let's check our grouping properly. So we go to this group and sort. It was grouped on carnival with A on top. That's the group. And then also, do not keep group together on one page. Yeah, that is also another one. You can, this one, the question will always specify, keep whole group together on one page if you want to put them together. Right, so we have the background image, and then we have the grouping also, as well as arranging this. So this one was different from previous questions because the label should be on different column, and then the fields should also be right to the label in another column. Right. There was no calculations in this question. So all that we needed to do is to put a border around the groups, and then also to put, to hide the group heading, and then also, yeah, there was no group heading there, only the values. Only the values. Let's say whether they gave any option. This is the group heading. Right. There was the details and then the label. Let's put the label there also as well for the group. The label for group header. The one that we deleted. And then this one is only the field because that is what is only showing here, the carnival, then grouped by the herbivore. So it's only the field, the label should not be there as well. Right, now let's check other questions that involves screenshot. So screenshot are always a higher order question. You need to check how they group. It takes time. Now that's why most of the times they don't give calculations also. So here we needed to group and then change the arrangement into column. But in the previous versions, you always see columnar. Now here, I don't know why I did not get columnar from my side here. When I was creating, there's always columnar so that you put them in columns. Right. Let's move straight to the next question. It also has a screenshot. No, this one doesn't have screenshot. 5 famous. Open the RPT 5_6 and modify it as follows. Change the page orientation to landscape, and then ensure that the data in the date born field display when switch to layout view, and then we group according to the style or period. Determine how many artists per style were recorded, and then the calculations in the page footer should display the total number of artists, but not display the correct answer. Change the report so that the calculation displays properly. Right, so let's check the 5 famous. Right, 5 famous. It seems I don't have it here. Let me search. And then I'm going to add it as well. Now, the report was already created for us. So all that we needed to do is to modify it. So this was the report. So you right click and then you choose design view. Right, so this is our report. And then now they said we should change, first of all, this is our report. So when you click on the entire report, so here is the footer, but then you choose the report. The whole report, it will give you the properties. Now, or you can go to page setup and then you choose the landscape. That's the first part. We change it to the landscape. And then the second one says date bond field display when switch to layout view. So now this is the date bond. Remember, the one on top is the label. This is the field. The one inside the details section is the field. So you click on it and then you go and check on the property sheet. Now, the property sheet, when you go to all, we have the visible. It says yes, it should be displayed. And then we also have the other control options that says it should display when you show it on the other view. Like now here, let's go back to the view and see. Yeah, it's showing the date born and it's not showing properly because of the values. So what you needed to do is to ensure that you drag it. Yeah, so here the view is showing that the report view, and then the layout view is also showing. So both the layout view and then the report view, the date born is showing. So you needed to only drag it and check also whether it's visible. So mostly you must check it, whether the visible is yes or no. Then the next question says, group the report on the style or period field. Now we go to add group and then we choose style. Like I told you earlier, if you don't see group and sort in the design view, if you go to design view and you don't see group and sort, you must activate it. You click on group and sort so that you'll find it here. Now the question is asking us to add a grouping, and then we group according to style. So you click on add group and then you choose style. Right. Then the next question says, determine how many artists per style were recorded. So how many, meaning we use count function. And now, because of the keyword here, per group or for each, so it should be in the group footer. We go to more with no totals, and then we select, it could be the name or any of them, and then count, then we take show subtotal in group footer. Show subtotal in group footer. Now, there's another question that says, we cannot find, or this function, when you click on the report view, there's a function already there that you cannot see the response or the answer. When you go to the page, yeah, there's an error here, the number of artists, there's an error. So we have to go and fix it. Now, it's only shown under the page footer. It's correct, count into bracket the add form. Add form is a field, but it's not showing because it must be taken to the report footer, not the page footer. So you have to drag it to the report footer. And now let's go and check. There we go. So we don't do calculations in the page footer. So take note, calculations are done in the report footer or the details section or the group footer. Those are the three areas that we perform calculations. So you must take note of that. Right. So that is all about the 5 famous questions. Then let's also check this. Add the current date and time in the report footer, and then the function, and then the group to determine, to display the month instead of year, and to also calculate the date out. So let's also check that question. Today, we will try as much as possible to touch every question, every sampled question here, so that you will know how report questions are asked in most of our question papers. Let's start with the 5. Add let me check. I will add them also. 5 add data. I'll add all of them to our link. I think it was not there. So 5_6. Now we should add the current date and time in the report footer. Like I told you, to add the current date and time, all that you need to do is to go to the report design. You will see date and time. The moment you click on it, it's going to be on the report header. So all that you need to do is to drag it to the footer section. So when we edit it, it will be in the header section. Let's do it again. Sorry, not page numbers. Date and time, and then okay. Now let's go to report footer and check. It's not there. So maybe there was something applied here. So we can also equally use a text box. If it doesn't work, use text box. Then you type the function =, date. Let's check. So in the footer section, you will see the current date there. Yeah, already it was there. It was there. Here, date, and the time was already there. But just that I was not able to find. So if you don't see it, you can also add the function =, date or =, time, so that it will display there. Right. Now, the next question says, insert a function to determine the total artist price for art pieces per type of description, type description. So we are going to find the total, which is the sum function. by the type description, meaning it was grouped on type description. So what we do is we go to more with no totals. Then we say we must find the total artist price, and there should be sum. Then you take show subtotal in group footer. Show subtotal in group footer. And then change the grouping of the date out field to display per month instead of per year. Now that's the grouping option when you were calculating. But now if the report has already been calculated, this is what you do. Group on date out. Then you go to more. You are going to see by year. Now you change it to by month. You can also custom it also by maybe the number of minutes. That's what the question wanted us to do. And again, ensure that the text box in the date out header displays the month. Now the text box here, it says format the date out as the year instead of the month. So you delete the 4Y and then you put 3 or 4M. It should be formatted as the month, not the year. Right, so basically, that's what it's supposed to be. So you see date out by year. That's what the heading says. Now it has changed to month. It has changed to month as well for you. So this is the formatted one. But then there's a say date out by year. So here, you can also change it to date out by month. Because it's a label. Right, so the format, you change it. And then here, you also change this side to by month instead of by year. So you must know the grouping options as well. So as you can see, most of the questions, they ask about the group options. They always do ask by the group option. Right. We move to the next question. Create a report named RPT5_5 based on the TBL visitors table to display the records as follows. And they have given the note, the field that displays the grouping, the calculations, the format of the visitors cost field. And this is the 5 Egypt. Now let's underline or let's analyze it before we start. This is the screenshot. First of all, you must check here. We have the bent pyramid, varied pyramid, and the rest. So meaning it was grouped according to pyramid. Now, for each group, there's a calculation that says maximum amount. Then the function used was maximum for each visitor's cost. And then we also have outline or a border around the values. So now let's take a look at it. And it was also having 2 decimal places. So let's do that one. We open 5 Egypt. And then we start by creating and then grouping according to, so we go to create, report wizard. Now let's check the first one, is pyramid. It was based on TBL visitors. The first one, pyramid. The second one is name. Let's check based on TBL visitors, right? So the first one, pyramid, name, surname, and visitors cost. Name, surname, visitors cost. Then next. And then group according to pyramid. There was no option there. It's normal one. It's not having first letter or that, so it's normal. Then next also. Let's check whether they sorted according to anything there. Let's check. If we check the name, F before A, yeah, this one was not sorted according to name. And it was also not sorted unless maybe the surname, it seems surname is sorted descending order, Patel, and then M and then P. No, not descending. Right, so the surname was also not sorted. So there was no sorting applied. So we go to next. And then is the step one, the first one, you can choose landscape. Next, we modify, and it should be RPT 5_6. Don't forget, you get a mark if you change the name to the correct name, and then we finish. So now we have group it, and now we are going to do our calculation. How do we do our calculation? First of all, we need to activate our group and sort. If it is not there, we have to activate it. So there's no group and sort, so we have to activate by clicking group and sort. And then under the pyramid, we go to more with no totals. Then the total should be on visitors cost. And then it should be maximum. And show subtotal in group footer. Right. Now, there was a label added, which is maximum amount under the surname. Maximum amount under the surname with a column. So you must type as it is. Whenever you get a screenshot, you should make sure that you type as you see in the screenshot. So now we have this maximum here, which is under the maximum. Everything should display. So you must enlarge that box. Now we have to take the label and we draw it under the surname. Then we type maximum amount with a column. Remember, it should be closer, as you see there. It should be closer. So we have to drag it. Now let's check the preview. Right, so we have all these group and maximum amount is here. Now this one must have a border around it. So we need to place a border here. Like I told you yesterday when we were doing the form, I said the border, you can take it from the property sheet, or alternatively, you can go to format and then you go to shape outline. Then you choose line thickness, any line around it. Or you can just choose the border style. There we go. So this one looks exactly as we see from the question. Ignore this border. There was no border. This is just the image that they placed the border around it. All that they wanted to do is to put the border here. That is why this type of question, they always give you the note, check the grouping, check the calculation, and check the format of the visitor's cost field. So now let's check the format of the visitor's cost field. It's in rand with 2 decimal places. And let's check the question again. It's also in rand with 2 decimal places. So that format is fine. Right. We move straight to the next question. Let's go straight to the next question. 5, support. Open the report based on the TBL volunteer here. We are going to insert the image in the header, resize the image. Then we add another grouping and then the function in the group footer. for the number and then the label. So as you can see, the report questions are similar. They keep asking the same type of question: grouping, sorting, doing calculations, and other. That is how the report is. Only few instances that you see the higher order with an image, and then they want you to do the same, right? So let's open 5 support, and then we'll see what we need to do over there. Right, so I have 5 support here, and then we open the report RPT 5_6. Now it says we must first of all insert 5 rescue image in the report header, and then change the size to 1.6 centimeters high and then 2 centimeters wide. So we go to report design image, so 5 rescue, and then we draw it here. Now we are going to resize it. Then you go to the property sheet, make sure it is selected the image. Otherwise, you might make a mistake. When you click somewhere, check this is a report header. Here we are changing the image. So you select the image, then the width should be 1.6. And then the height should be 2 centimeters. No, the height is 1.6, and then the width is 2 centimeters. That's according to the question. Right. And then it says, the whole image must fill the box. So that is where you go and do the size mode. Instead of zoom, you make it stretch so that they fill this box. Then add another grouping to the report on the return volunteer field. So we go to add group, and then we choose return volunteer. And then insert a function in the medical service group footer to determine the number of volunteers per medical service. So we click on the group on medical service, then we go to more with no totals, because the question says the number of. So we say the number of volunteers. You can choose any of them, name or medical service, and then the count, and then we take show subtotal in group footer. And then the question says insert a suitable label. So we can put a label and say the number of volunteer per medical service. So you go and look for the function, it is here. So you have to drag it, and then we insert a label, and then we can type number of volunteer per service or per medical. Right. Now let's check so that it doesn't spill over this. There we go. So basically this question is talking about the grouping, the sorting, and others. We move straight to the next question, which is 5 survey. Also wants us to do calculations, group footer, the total, the label, and then the font, changing the font size, and then removing a grouping. Yeah, I think I must solve this one so that I will show you how to remove an existing grouping. So let's check 5 survey. The report was already grouped. You right click, design view. It was already grouped. So we need to remove the grouping by the estimate amount. Right. So this is group on estimate amount and then group on traveler type. So we select the estimate amount grouping, and then you'll find the X. There's an X there which is delete. You click there and then you delete it. So that's how we remove or delete a grouping. Now, the next question. It says function in the traveler group to determine the total estimated amount. So we go to more with no totals. Totals on, we select estimate amount, and then it should be sum, and then we take show subtotal in the group footer. Then add a suitable label and change the font of the estimate amount to italic. Estimate amount failed. Did they say failed? Yeah, failed. Yeah. Remember, the failed is always in the details section. So we look for estimate amount. Here is it. This is the header. Right. So now the sum of it for each, we change it to italic. So the italic, you can get it from home, and then we click on italic. Now, I don't see the field for estimate amount. Let me see. I see only name, surname. Oh yeah, here is it, estimate amount. But this is the header. Let's run it and check. So there was no estimate amount value there. Right. So I think it's the first one, the very first one, the estimate amount. In the details section. I see only two fields here. 1, 2. And then the sum of the estimate amount header, traveler type. Yeah, I think it's this one. Yeah, here in the header. Yeah, it's a text box. Yes, it's a header. Yeah, so they move it to the header section instead of the page header. Yeah, I get it. So now this one should be italic. It should be italic. Right. Yeah, there's the values. So it should be italic. And then the last question. There is also another question involving a screenshot. Now let's take a look at this screenshot here. This is one of the challenging questions. Just take a look at this screenshot. If we have this question, and we are going to analyze it before we do it. You can see it only gave us the home team, and then Argentina is the home team. Then just below the home team, another field, match date, number, score, trials, and the win or lose. Now, on top of the label for the score, there is a the text box, the field for the home team. So you have to analyze before you know how to place each and every one or every field. So we have to create it. Let's try it and see. That is Q5 underscore France. Q5 underscore France. And the question says we have to create a report. And then the report should be based on matches table to appear as in the screenshot. So we go to create report wizard, and then it should be based on the matches table. And the first one from the screenshot, the first one is the home team, followed by match date and the number and then score, followed by match date, and then match time, match number, score, trials, and win and lose. So these are the fields. And then they group according to the home team. And then step, landscape. Then we modify. The name should be, according to the question, should be RPT 5_6. RPT 5_6. Right. So now, if we preview, we will see that it is not the same. It's not the same as what we see on the screenshot. Let's preview and see. All right, this is what we have, but then the screenshot says otherwise. So we need to rearrange them. Now, how do we rearrange all these? We need to put them in the details section, the details section. So we need to get more space. And then we pull down these ones. Match number. Score. Now let's see. Trials and then win or lose is the other side. Close the sheet here, and then so I bring the win or lose also here. And then the home team. The label for the home team must also be brought. Then if you check, the home team is just on top of the match date. And then the label for the home team. Let's check where they place it. It's on top of the score. So let's check. So you see the home team with this, but the match and that one is still there. I think the label is still there on top. We need to bring back the label. Yeah, the labels are there. They should be on top of each other. Right. So the labels must be on top. And then the score also. Then win or lose. So basically, you have to rearrange them like you see in the screenshot. You can see the Argentina, the home team, and then also these ones are on top. Now, we need to move we need to move this one because we group should be in the home team header. Yes, group by. Right, so now we have Argentina with a match, and then the scores are also there. So this one, if you see that they are not following each other, you move the label to the header section. You move the labels to the header section. Like you can see now, when I move it just below the home team, the Argentina, the labels are there, and then the values will be on top. So basically, the label of the home team must also be on top. The home team must also be on top. So all that we need to do is the home team header. This is the label for home team, and this is the text box for home team, all under the home team header. And then the labels for the rest should be in the home team. The labels for the rest should be in the home team. But then the text box for the rest should be under the detail section. Under the detail section. Right. So basically, this is what you need to do. Take note, whenever there's a grouping, you check where you must place it. Like this question, the label for only the group field, the label, which is home team, must be on the left side, and then the field for the home team should be on top of the label for the rest. But then the field for the rest of the others must be inside the details section. So this is what we are going to have. So you can see Argentina, the labels are on top, and then the values will be there for only Argentina. Then when you go to the next one, home team, Australia, and it also be like that. So basically, it needs carefully studying it and then placing them properly. So here, as you can see from this question, this label, home team, is on the header, the group header, and then the text box for the home team is also in the header. It's not in the details section. But then the label, the rest of the labels are in the header of the groups section, and then the details are all, the rest of the details are in the detail section or the field. So basically, that's how the arrangement was done. Right. So with that, but then in examination, try and then make them follow each other so that you will not be penalized. They must follow each other like that. You have to rearrange by dragging them. Now let's move straight to the next question. This one wanted us to group and then to do calculations. The group interval by yearly. And then also do calculations. Yes, there was a screenshot also. This one, there was a screenshot. You can see it was grouped according to manufacture date. And then there was a total manufacture drones manufactured with count function. So let's also look at that 5 drone info. Drone info. Right. So there was a screenshot, and we need to create the report wizard. Now, group according to manufacture date, and it should be based on QRY manufactured query. So we have to select QRY manufactured, and then we select all the fields. And according to the question, we group according to manufacture date, but it says by month, so we change the group options to year. That is what you see from the screenshot. You can see 2010, 2011. And then you go to next. Add a function to determine the number of drones. Yes. So here we just needed to go to next and then landscape. When we finish it, we add a function by going to group footer, and then we choose the number of drones. Then we put a border around it also. As you can see from the screenshot, there was no border. Yes, there was no border. So it's only a label that says drone manufactured. So what we do here is that I close the print preview. Then I make sure that I enlarge it. So you see the manufacture date is too narrow. That is why you see the hashtag. So we have to enlarge it. Then I click on group and sort. Group on manufacture date, more with no totals. I choose check where they did the calculations on. It is under the type. So here with no totals, I select totals on type and count. Then I take show subtotal in the footer. So to be here under the type. Then I have to add a label. And then I type number of drones manufactured. Right. So that's what this question wanted us to do, basically. So drones manufactured, this one has 3 and others. Right, now here, 5 HP, background to the color of our choice, sorted by name, page number should not display on the first page. The page number should not display on the first page. I'm not going to solve the question, but then whenever they ask you the page number, you go to report design, page numbers. If you don't want to display on the first page, you must untick this one and then okay. So basically, that's what that question wanted us to do. And then 5 workers also. This one is only having conditional formatting. When the amount is 8,000 and more, you fill it with a purple color. We did conditional formatting today as well. So I'll urge you to do that. Now, 5 ranking also has a screenshot. Let's take a look at that. Now, if you look at this question, create a report called RPT5_7 based on the top ranking table to look like the screenshot below. Now you can see that it was grouped according to country, and each country has been shaded. Then the area, and then there's a calculation here that says total rating per country, and then the totals were done under the rating. So this is the simple calculation, and then the report. Let's check it, 5 ranking. And then we create it by adding the following. So I go to create, report wizard, and then the first field is country, area, rank, and rating. So country, area, rank, and rating, only these 4. And then it was grouped according to country. Then next. I want to use that one to show you where it says the group interval. Let's say the group interval, I want it to be only the first 3 letters. Then next. And the landscape. Right. So with this, it was grouped already. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to do the calculations that says total rating per country by finding the total. So I activate the group and sort, and then I go to more. With no totals, I select totals on ratings. The function is sum, subtotal in a group footer. I take that one so that I will find it under the country group. Here is the function. Now, let's check where the function is supposed to be. It should be under rating. Yes, it's there. Then I must put a label and draw it here. And then I type total ratings per country. Then there was a outline border around this. So I click on it. I can go to format, shape outline, line thickness. I can choose any line there to move around it. Then you can see from here, according to the question, the countries were shaded. So these countries here, the label, not the label, it's only the countries in the details section were shaded. So I go to shape fill, and then I choose any color of my choice. Now let's go and check. So here it was grouped according to Australia, AUS, BAN. So this was the ranking by initial. It's not what the question wanted, but I added it for you to see how it looks like if you put the ranking by initial. Right. Now here, I don't need it. What I must do is I must go back to more. And then where it says by first 3 letters, I take it by entire value. That's all. But I wanted to show you how to change it if in case you get that type of question. Let's go back there. I think it's still showing. A on top. By entire value. Yeah. The initial one was sent by first 3. That's why it's giving that problem. But if you choose the normal one, it's not going to bring this part. It's going to delete it. Otherwise, I can clear it also. Here. Here is it. Left of the country, comma 3. That's the first 3. So if I don't need it, I can just click and delete. I don't need that part, so I can delete that one. So that it's only grouped according to countries for me. By entire value, totals. Right. So basically, this question wanted us to group. We highlight this and then we do our calculation. That's the simple question. Now let's move straight to the next question. So here it says the heading that was added, the grouping applied, and then the calculated field, the shading was also applied. Now, 5 Romantic also wants us to do grouping and then the calculations also. So basically they are repeating the same thing. Then this one, they were first grouped according to born by year, and then also grouped according to the birth country, and then the rest. So this one group according to the year of the artist was born, and then the country. Ensure that the born field is group per year. So like you change the group options to year, and then the function for the total. So that is what you needed to do regarding this question. 5 outward. And then this also the same amount by thousands. Can see that they group according to amount by thousands. Let's do this two, then we bring to an end. And then this one also, there was conditional formatting added. I like this question with a screenshot like that, so that you will know how to handle those type of questions, right? And this was just the normal one, the normal question, because it says the grouping does not split over pages, which you need to do that as well. So there are so many questions that I'll urge you to do. We'll also look at this question 5 reverse, whereby it needed you to use the summary options to do the calculation. We will also look at that. Then I'll urge you to do most of these questions. So I'm going to take the ones with the screenshots, and then we end our lesson for the day. I will do this. I'll start with this one, 5 outward. I'll only do the questions that will be a little bit challenging. Then you complete the rest of the activities at home. Try to solve more questions. Like I said earlier, if there's a question that you do not understand, you try to send a message and then I'll attend to that. Right. Now, this question wants us to create it based on TBL. And then the field to display is born, birth, country, and then artist name and surname. So born, birth, country, and then name and surname. Right. And then we're grouping according to born. Then the grouping options should be by year. And then there was no sorting. So landscape. Then the calculation was also done. The calculation was total number of artists per country per year. That function was to find the total number of countries. So here, this is what we have per year. And then it was also grouped according to born, birth, country. So let's also group again. We go to group and sort, add group again according to birth, country. Then you do the calculation. Don't forget to extend this, the born. This one is too small, so you have to stretch it so that everything will be displayed. Then you repeat the same thing and then do the calculation. So basically, this is what the question wanted, and then we do calculations under that. Right. We also have other questions like this. This one is only also grouping by thousands. We did the question like that. 5 activities, you group by thousands, and then you do the calculation, which is the average in 2 decimal places. So whenever you get a question, check which fields do you need to apply, and then you also attend to them. So this one, they group according to this by thousands, and then you do all the activities. Now let's also look at this question, which is 3 members. Let's look at it because there are new questions also there. 3 members. Now, the question says we must create a report RPT3_4 based on the membership. So we go to create report wizard, and then it should be based on the membership table. Then we need to display the following. We must check, we have the name, age, membership status, and then chronic. So we do by name, age, membership status, and then chronic. Only those 4. And then check the group according to status. So you can see Emerald, Berry, they were grouped, and there's a line under the age. So we group according to membership status. And then next, let's check whether they sorted. Yes, they sorted according to the name. So sorted according to the name. Right. Now, here we need to be careful. First of all, there is a line drawn under the age. And then you can see also here, 18 years, 19 years, 20, 18, 17 was not highlighted. That means conditional formatting was applied. And then also the membership status, they put the field, they put a border around them. So let's check them. So membership status. Membership status. Under the details section, there's a line around it, which is the format, and then shape outline, line thickness, and then you choose. Now, you can see the name came before. Let's run and check. You see the status should be on the right-hand side, and it should be the name, the age, and chronic. The name should be first, followed by the age, status, and chronic. So we need to change them, the name, age, and then the status. So we have to change their position. The status should come after the age. You need to rearrange them. So the name should be first here, followed by the age, and then the status. So membership status should be here. Then the age should be here also as well. And then the name. Then the chronic values should be here. Right, and there was a line drawn. So you go there, under the controls, there's a line. you draw a line for each. If you check the question, there's a line after each group. After each group, there's a line. So you can draw the line. The line should be straight. Straight line. Let's check. See, there's a line there, but the line should be straight. And then there should be another line after so there are two lines, so there will be another line also. After every group. So emerald value. And then it was sorted also according to that. We can put only this one here. Yeah, and then the status was having a bar around it. So don't forget to put the shape outline around each status. Right. So basically this question, they group them and then also they put a border around it and then they put a line. They put a line. This is the line. And then there was a conditional formatting applied. There was conditional formatting applied here. Now, under the age, you click on the age, conditional formatting, you go to format, conditional formatting. When the age, the new rule, the age is greater than, when the age is greater than 17, then it should fill with any color. So there was a conditional formatting applied to it. Right. We check at the last question before we bring today's session to an end. I want to see the one that is different from whatever that we have been doing so far. There was a question that says running sum. I want us to check that question. Yeah, here. 5 rivers. We create it, and then we display all this. We group according to the analysis. Use the summary option to show only the summary, which is different type of question. So let's check 5 rivers. Right, so we are creating, and then the report wizard. Now, it says we need to display river, length, country origin, and number of countries. So we need the river, length, and we need country origin. Then we need a number of countries. And then we group according to country origin. And then say use the summary option to show only the summary of the total. So here we go to next. Then we see the summary option. Now, we say to show the summary of the total length of the rivers. The summary of the total length. Total meaning sum of the rivers. And it should be detailed and summary or summary only. Now the question says it should be summary only per country of the origin. So it should show only the summary. So we take this one. Sometimes they can also ask you to calculate % of the total for some. So you must watch out for that. And the next, landscape, and then we can finish. Right, so basically, we have touched almost all different categories of the report. Watch out for those type of questions. Try and solve most of these questions, like these ones here. Here, the calculation was done on the header, the activity header. So you must check it. The same thing. The drop off was having a border around it, and it was grouped according to the recycling activity. You can see active is all together. And then again, it also shows here the activity number, how many. So you did the number per each group. So it's 75. In this instance, it is not in the footer, but rather on the header. So check all these questions. And then if there's any question that you have, don't forget to drop it in the comment section. Thank you for your time. The link is shared already. You can get access to all these files. By tomorrow, we will try and start with the HTML, and then we will finish HTML latest tomorrow for grade 10 and then 11 and then grade 12 as well. For grade 10, they also need HTML. All right, thank you for your time. Goodbye.